Hello everyone, I am Mr. Sunil Kumar from the Department of Mechanical Engineering, AJIT Mangalore. Dear students, you know I am teaching you the course of finite element analysis. We are dealing with the contents of module 3. We have finished with the analysis of beams. In this video, we will see the new topic, that is torsion of shafts. This is the video number 6 in module 3. So we shall consider it as video 3.6. Today we will learn about analysis of torsional members. To be particular, it is given as torsion of shafts in the syllabus. There may be any torsional members in structure also which can be subjected to twisting moment. As you know, any member which is having being subjected to twisting moment, such a type of member, it is called as torsional member. There is shear force induced in the member and the applied force is considered to be the twisting moment, provided there should be constraint at any one of the ends. Coming to the finite element formulation, here the analysis is same as that of bars. The analysis of torsional members is same as that of bars. We have studied bars, beams, trusses until now. But torsional members, it is same as that of bars. Same, everything is same. Only few things we have to make little changes. Here, area in bar is replaced by polar moment of inertia J in torsional members. And Young's modulus, which we consider in bar, is replaced by modulus of rigidity G, and the displacement U is replaced by angular rotation pi. So in place of area A, we substitute polar moment of inertia J. In place of Young's modulus G, we substitute Young's modulus E, we substitute rigidity modulus G. In place of displacement U, we substitute angular rotation pi. Pi is the angular rotation, you know. If we consider any members, any torsion members in x direction, the length in x direction, there will be rotation about x direction. There will be rotation about x direction. So I will explain you. Now let us consider a torsional member as shown in the figure. So this is the torsional member. It is the member, torsional element. Now it is having node 1 and node 2. So length is considered in x direction. So due to torsion, there will be rotation pi 1 at node 1, rotation pi 2 at node 2. This rotation is happening about x direction. This rotation is happening about x direction. So I have considered an torsional element with two nodes. At each node, there will be 1 degree of freedom, and that 1 degree of freedom is rotation about x axis. At node 2, it is having 1 degree of freedom, so that is rotation about x axis pi 2. T1 is the twisting moment applied at node 1. T2 is the twisting moment applied at node 2. In place of force, we will replace T1, T2. This is the length. Let us consider this element with node 1 at a distance x1 from the origin and node 2 at a distance x2 from the origin, and this is considered in global coordinate. This is about the torsional member. Now let us derive shape function for torsional member. Let us derive shape function for torsional member. What is shape function? What is shape function? We have already learned what is shape function. In this same figure, which we have taken as a torsional member, is a torsional element. Let us assume that at this node, I know the rotation, angular rotation pi 1. At this node, I know the angular rotation pi 2 at this node. And these pi 1 and pi 2 are the nodal angular rotations. They are called as nodal angular rotations which are acting at node 1 and node 2. Now it is required for me to find out the value of pi anywhere over the element. I have to find out the value of pi anywhere over the element. Let me consider any point here at a distance x from the origin. I have to find out the pi value. That pi is called as the global angular rotation. Pi 1 and pi 2 are called as nodal angular rotation. That pi at any point is called as global angular rotation. If I have to find out that global angular rotation, then I have to use one function called as shape function. With the help of shape function, we can find the global angular rotation pi anywhere over the element, provided I know the values of pi 1 and pi 2. So finding global angular rotation or global displacement. Angular rotation is to be specific. When we come to FEA, we will call it as displacement. The node will displace from one point to another point. To finding out the global displacement or global variable, by knowing the nodal variables, we use the function that is called as shape function. Now pi 1 and pi 2 are the nodal angular rotations. Now to derive the shape function, the procedure is same as that of bar. The procedure is same as that of bar. Assume pi is equal to a0 plus a1x. Assume pi is equal to a0 plus a1x is the displacement equation assumed. This is the general displacement equation for the torsional member. In place of u, we have taken pi. That is the only difference between bar and torsion. Here a0 and a1 are the generalized coordinates. They are called as generalized coordinates. This pi will vary as x varies. This pi will vary as x varies. That is why x is taken here. Now if we apply boundary condition at x is equal to x1 at the node 1, pi is equal to pi 1, that is known. At x is equal to s2, that is node 2, pi is equal to pi 2. If I substitute this equation in the first expression, we will get this equation. Let us call that as equation number 1. Similarly, if I substitute the second boundary condition in the assumed displacement function, we will get this expression. By solving, that is by making 2 minus 1, we will arrive at the further expression. In that expression, we will find the value of a1. If you remember the same expression in bar, in which we have derived shape function for bar element in global coordinates, shape function for bar element in global coordinates, it is u2 minus u1 by x2 minus x1. Here it is pi 2 minus pi 1 by x2 minus x1. Now what we have to do is we have to find out this a1 value and a0 value and substitute back here in the first equation. We have found a1 now. Now we have to find a0. After finding this a1, substitute this a1 in any one of the equations 1 or 2. So we have substituted 3 in 1. After substituting 3 in 1 and simplifying, we will get a0 as this value. Now we got a1 and a0. We have found the expressions for generalized coordinates a0 and a1. After finding the expression for generalized coordinates, we have to substitute those expressions in the assumed trial displacement function. After substituting in the trial displacement function, in place of a0 we have substituted this, x1 remains as it is, a0 is this. In place of a1 we have substituted this. So the global angular rotation is equal to something into pi 1 plus something into pi 2. Here we are relating global angular rotation with nodal angular rotations. We are relating global angular rotations with nodal angular rotations, and we are multiplying some coefficients. That coefficient is called as shape function. That coefficient is called as shape function. That coefficient value, the denominator x2 minus x1 can be taken as length of the element. The denominator x2 minus x1 can be taken as length of the element LE. After replacing x2 minus x by LE will be n1, x minus x1 by LE will be n2. So that is the shape function which relates global variables with nodal variables. It is n1 and n2 are used to find global variable over the element when nodal variables are known. So n1 is x2 minus x by LE, n2 is x minus x1 by LE. These two expressions are the expression for shape function for the torsional member. This is same as that of bar. For bar also the expression is same. For torsion also the expression is same. For torsion also expression is same. And now as usual, after deriving the shape function, we have to write the variation of shape function. The variation of shape function. We have learned this. We have two shape functions. How many shape functions we have? We have two shape functions. We have two shape functions because we have two nodes. We have two nodes, therefore we have two shape functions. So the shape function n1 is 1 at node 1. We have this element having node 1 and node 2. The shape function value is n1 at node 1, which is shown by this line of magnitude 1. This diagram belongs to shape function n1. And the shape function n1 at node 2 is 0. Therefore, there is no any line drawn towards y direction. This shape function, which its value is 1 at node 1, it will decrease gradually and become 0 like this. And that decrease is with respect to this expression x2 minus x by length of the element LE. So shape function anywhere over this element, length of the element, will be something whose value is less than 1. Here it will be 1, it will decrease, it will be less than 1, and further it decreases and becomes 0. Now this diagram belongs to shape function n2. n2 is 0 at node 1. n2 is 1 at node 2. As n1 is 1 at node 1, n2 is 1 at node 2. It is 0 at node 1 and 1 at node 2, and it goes on increasing in between. Its value depends on x minus x1 by LE, and it goes on increasing and its value will be less than 1. It will be 0 between 0 and 1. Here it will be 1. So this is about the variation of shape function. This everyone has to write at the end of the derivation. If the question is asked to derive with respect to natural coordinates, once again it is same as set of bar expression which you have learnt already. In place of u, you will be replacing pi. In place of e, you will be replacing g. In place of a, you will be replacing polar moment of inertia j. This is about the shape function of torsional member. Next we shall learn about stiffness matrix of 1D shaft element or torsional element. So this is the very important derivation which will be asked in the examination most probably. Consider the same torsional element having node 1 and node 2, that pi 1 and pi 2 with the angular rotations at node 1 and node 2. T1 and T2 are the twisting moments applied. Node 1 is at a distance x1 from the origin, node 2 at a distance x2 from the origin. So this is the element considered in global coordinates. Here the stiffness matrix is derived with respect to the potential energy functional. As we know, potential energy functional is given by pi is equal to SC plus WP. SC is the strain energy, WP is the work potential. Strain energy is the internally induced, work potential is the externally applied energy. Strain energy is given by half into integration of half into, here I have taken tau because it is shear stress induced and it is epsilon, or we can take shear strain. So if we replace tau by shear strain, it will be G into epsilon square. Now after that we will get the standard expression for strain energy. It is same as that of bar. The only difference is we are replacing G, we are replacing E by G, and the next thing is du by dx whole square is same, and J is replaced by A. That is, A is replaced by J. G is instead of Young's modulus E, J is instead of A. J is the polar moment of inertia. Work potential is minus T1 pi 1 minus T2 pi 2. It is same as set of bar where we take minus F1 U1 minus F2 U2. Here we take minus T1 pi 1 minus T2 pi 2. So pi is SC plus WP, we have got that. Now we have to apply boundary condition. Before applying boundary condition, we have to assume a trial displacement function, that is pi is equal to A0 plus A1 into x. This is trial displacement function where A0 and A1 are the generalized coordinates. Okay. After applying boundary condition, at x is equal to 0, pi is equal to pi 1. X is equal to 0 means we are assuming at x is equal to x1 means at x is equal to 0 means in this figure at x is equal to x1 at node 1, x1 let it be 0, which means we are taking the coordinate at node 1. At x2 let it be L, like that. If we take x as 0 and pi as pi 1, we will get A0 is equal to pi 1. If we take x as L and pi as pi 2, we will get A1 is equal to this expression. Substitute A0 and A1 in the earlier expression, we will get this expression. We have got pi, but in potential energy functional, we should solve for, it is d pi by dx whole square. We should solve for d pi by dx whole square. That is why it will be, should solve for d pi by dx whole square. Phi you have to differentiate. If you differentiate it with pi 2 minus pi 1 by L, if you double differentiate or if you square it, it's not double differentiation, if you square it, you will get this expression. This expression we will substitute in the pi equation. After substituting in pi equation, the same as that of bar, only the notation changes. Only the notation changes. We will get this expression. So if you reduce after integration, this is the expression after integration. So after integration, that is the expression. So for equilibrium of the system, we have to reduce pi. So we have to reduce pi means d pi by d pi 1 and d pi by d pi 2. So if you do that, we will get two equations. If you write those two equations in the matrix form, we will get Gj by L. It is not Ae by L. Gj by L 1 minus 1 minus 1 1 pi 1 pi 2 T1 T2. It is not Ae by L. Ae by L is for bar. Please make the correction here. It is not Ae by L. Ae by L is for bar. Gj by L is for torsional member. The stiffness matrix for bar is Ae by L 1 minus 1 minus 1 whereas the stiffness matrix for torsional member is, in place of Ae we replace Gj or Jg. Ae is replaced by Jg. That is the only changes in stiffness matrix expression. This is the stiffness of torsional element. Now let us consider one problem in torsion. So torsional problem is same as that of bar problem. Here a stepped shaft member is given or a stepped torsional member is given. Initially it is having diameter 40 millimeter reduced to 20 millimeter. So since there is geometrical discontinuity, we should consider it as two elements. At the same time, there is one load acting, that is force is moment is 30 Newton meter. The moment applied at node 3 is 15 Newton meter. Now, since there are two conditions, one is the load is applied here as well as it is stepped down, that is geometrical discontinuity, we should consider this member to have two elements. This is the first element and this is the second element. So this is node 1, node 2 and node 3. The analysis is same as that of bar. So the modulus of rigidity is given, which is 80 GPa. So only thing we have to do is we have to find out J and substitute in stiffness matrix expression. The given condition is like this: G1 is equal to G2 because it is made of one material, that is why it is same 80 GPa. Diameter D1 is 40 millimeter, diameter D2 is 20 millimeter. T1 is 30 Newton meter, T2 is 15 Newton meter. So this will be the finite element model. So T1 is the moment at node 1, T2 is the moment at node 2, T3 is the moment at node 3. So there are three nodes. Pi 1 is the rotation at node 1, pi 2 is the rotation at node 2, pi 3 is the rotation at node 3 about x-axis. Now the solving of this problem is same as that of bar. The first thing to do is to solve for elemental stiffness matrix, and then we have to add each elemental stiffness matrices to form global stiffness matrix. Now the elemental stiffness matrix for first element, we know that elemental stiffness matrix is given by Gj by La 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. For node 1, for element 1 we have to replace element 1. We know D1 is 40 millimeter. I am converting into meter because length is given in meter and T is given in Newton meter. That is why the dimensional unit I will consider in meters. So we know that polar moment of inertia is given by pi d to the power of 4 by 32. So if I substitute the values, I will get J1 as like this. If I substitute J1 and G is 80 GPa, 80 GPa means 80 into 10 power 9 pascals, means 80 into 10 power 9 Newton per meter square. Understand, I am keeping the unit Newton and meter. So after replacing, we have to retain the common term outside, and inside we have to keep easy terms. Similarly, for the element 2, we have to write the stiffness matrix. Before that, we have to find out J2. Since D2 is 20 millimeter, after substituting, we will get J2 as like this. And substituting J2 and G2 in elemental stiffness matrix, the same power 10 power 4 should be retained. We will get stiffness matrix like this. But the degrees of freedom is 2, 3. Here degrees of freedom is 1, 2 in the earlier case. So the global stiffness matrix will be of the size 3 cross 3 because degrees of freedom for the given member is 3. So at each node 1 degrees of freedom there are 3 nodes. So it is 3 cross 3 matrix. Same as that of bar. So after adding, this is the only term which is added. So degrees of freedom 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3, only term is added. This is the global stiffness matrix. After global stiffness matrix, we have to write global nodal displacement vector. You see, all the problems are same. It is bars, beams, trusses, torsion, heat transfer, everything is of same type. We have to write global displacement vector. What is global displacement vector? Pi 1, pi 2, pi 3. 3 degrees of freedom, node 1, node 2, node 3. So pi 1 is angular rotation at node 1, pi 2 is angular rotation at node 2, pi 3 is angular rotation at node 3. There are 3 degrees of freedom. And what is global load vector? Global load vector is taken as the twisting moment. So twisting moment applied at node 1 is 0. There is nothing applied at node 1, that is taken as 0. Twisting moment at node 2 is 30 Newton meter. Twisting moment at node 1 is 0. At node 2 it is 30 Newton meter. Node 2 it is 30 Newton meter. We have taken Newton and meter as the units. So therefore I will return only 30. T3 is 15 Newton meter. That is why I will retain only 15. So the equilibrium condition is same as that of bar. KQ is equal to F or KQ is equal to T. K into this is the displacement vector is equal to T. We have to take carefulness about the units. So after applying boundary conditions, since node 1 is fixed, first row and first column are eliminated. After eliminating first row and first column, we will have these equations where only pi 2 and pi 3 are unknown. After solving for pi 2 and pi 3 using equations, that is in calculator, you will get 9.67 10 power minus 3. Since it is the rotation, we have to keep it in radians. Pi 3 is 0.005 radians. It is rotation about x-axis. Finally, we have to represent the displacement vector like this. Now, elemental stresses is same as that of bar. Once again, the elemental stresses is same as that of bar, but tau we are finding. Tau is the shear stress is G by LE minus 1 QI plus 1. For element 1, it is G by LE, G1 by LE1 minus 1 Q1 Q2. In place of Q, I will write pi 1 pi 2. Pi 1 is 0 because it is fixed. Pi 2 I have to write here. So I got 193.4 megapascal. Megapascal because we have taken and tau 2 as 942.133 megapascal. So you should be very careful in units and calculations. This is about solving torsional problem. This problem is not found in any of the textbooks. It is not given in any of the exam question books until now, but still you should not neglect. So I taken my own problem and solved this. So the solution is like this. So I hope everyone has understood. This is about the module 4. We have completed module 4. In the next video I will be sharing about module 5. It is about heat transfer. Thank you so much.